Well, thank you for coming out. It's great to see some students. I missed coaching, and I hope you're going to be good students, and I hope I'm going to be a good teacher. It's been a while. And table tennis is a very complicated sport, as you know, which makes it very frustrating but fascinating because you never stop learning. So what I would like to do is try and introduce you to a concept which is something that you can apply at any level. You can start applying today, and that's what I hope, is that I want you to leave here with an understanding of this concept. And we're going to get a chance to practice the application of it. And I want it to be in your brain so that you use it every day, almost for every shot. There was a time when I finally got this eureka moment. It was constantly in my mind to improve everything that I did. And I think that's what I hope it will do for you. So if you don't understand, ask away, ask questions. So the very first thing I'll do is ask you what you think timing is. Does anyone have an idea of what timing is? Yeah?
It's the perfect moment.
Yeah, exactly. And how does it relate to playing?
Maybe anticipating the shot, not
Yeah,
going late with anything.
exactly. There's, yeah?
Hitting the ball at the, depending on what peak, either on the come down or the top.
That's very important, because I believe that there are two definitions for timing. One that most people are familiar with and use and know, and the one that I'm going to introduce to you, which is not fixed. It's a very fluid idea of timing. So what I was taught right from the beginning is timing is where you hit the ball. You can hit it right after it bounces, you can hit it at the top of the bounce, you can hit it later. That's a very common definition of timing. My idea of timing is something that comes ingrained at birth. Who would like to be my first guinea pig? Come on, be brave. Oh. No. Were you gonna? I have one here, a brave soul. Yeah. So just get a racket. Here, my racket. And yeah, stand over here. Okay. I'm going to. You're gonna do great. I'm gonna toss the ball at you, anywhere in the air, and you're going to, using backhand, forehand, whatever, just gently give it back to me so I can catch it, okay? So maybe a little bit like this, so, okay? So I'm gonna throw it. You're gonna, that's timing. Oh, that was terrible timing. Okay, so what comes naturally? What comes naturally when you see a ball coming at you? Reaction. What else?
Think about the next move.
Exactly. You're putting your racket, you're not thinking, oh, the ball's coming, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that. Your racket goes to where the ball is. Yeah? Yeah? So your racket, it's three-dimensional, so he puts his racket to where he needs to meet the ball. His brain is pretty good at calculating the travel path, three-dimensional, and that's timing. And then we lose it when we start to complicate it with, let's do the forehand like this and let's do the backhand like that. That's important technique. But without good timing, technique doesn't matter. You can be the most beautiful player and keep missing everything. So timing. Questions? Pretty simple? The idea is simple. I'll show you why it's so bloody difficult. Thank you. Okay, so keeping that in the back of your mind, now I will just give you a little bit of background. As if you're like everybody else, including me, you're very impressed when you see someone who's a higher level than you, whether it's, provincially, nationally, internationally. You watch them and you think, wow, I'm going to try that. I'm going to do that. And that's the first step that we all go through. And then, of course, why does this player do it like that and that player do it like that? Then you get coaches telling you, no, don't do it like this, do it like that. Does that ever happen? You get a million different. And that was a frustration of my athletic career, let's say, because I had so many opportunities to see players of all levels and also to work with coaches of different levels. And I didn't know how to incorporate the knowledge that either I saw or I heard. And it became very obvious, just like with everything else, is that when you copy, you don't really understand. And the key is understanding. So if you are an architect and you want to build the next Sydney Opera House, you're not going to copy it. It's never going to be as good as the original. And probably if you copy it, it'll fall down because it's so difficult to keep it standing up. So you have to understand in order for everything to make sense, and so that you can innovate and keep improving. So how did I start to apply that when I was watching top players is I decided to watch talent. Like, why are certain players like so talented? And talent. I was watching talent. So let's see if we can put up what makes talent. Does anyone have any insights into talent? What would you consider as talent?
Good reflexes.
Good reflexes?
Yeah, it's something that comes naturally to you.
Could we learn from it? It's natural, but we need to learn from it. What are they doing so well?
Determination, dedication,
Practice.
That's more psychology, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Timing? Yes. Yay.
Oh. Gold star.
Yeah, good stuff. So there are many different qualities, obviously, and it's not as simple as I want to make it, but I try to simplify things so that you get this light bulb moment. And what I, over the years, found as commonality is talented athletes, whether it's table tennis or any other sport, are effortless. Like, okay, in tennis, you look at Federer. I mean, it's like, you don't try, you're kind of effortless. You're always in position, so anticipation, so on. Yeah, that's all part of it. Talented athletes never seem to be stressed. It's almost like you expect them to yawn when, things get difficult. You don't get that intense, brutal, fighting that, I have to confess, when I was an athlete, I wasn't talented. I was a hard worker. Stefan will tell you I was a fighter. Was I?
Correct. Yeah.
Correct.
So I was frustrated because why is it so easy for talented players? So I observed a lot. The other thing that struck me with talented players is you don't know where the ball is coming. Do you ever find that like they get ready for a shot and until the last minute you don't know where it's coming? I'm going to put all this into application to show you how timing answers all of these questions or explains. And then, of course, the change of speed. Being able to not just get caught up in a rhythm, but rhythm, all of a sudden soft. And that's not as easy to do as it sounds, and it's definitely where a lot of players make mistakes on an easy ball. You think you fought like crazy to win the rally, then you get the high ball. How many times have we put in the net
Never.
or off the table?
Never.
Once?
Never.
Twice?
Out of the not in the net.
That's right.
Okay. So all this is timing, really. I want you to be sick of I want you to be ingrained, timing to be ingrained in your brain when you leave here, because it's the answer to everything. So, a lot of observation. Then because of my experiences with both post-secondary education and working with a Chinese coach, I started to be able to fit pieces of the puzzle together because I could explain things theoretically. Now, the theory isn't necessarily important, but it allows you to have those eureka moments, which is what I'm not going to bore you with theory, but I will try to give you the final product. Okay, so again, observing all these talented players, the eureka moment was when I broke it down to its most simple form. So the example that hopefully will get the point across is baseball compared to table tennis. Is anyone a big baseball fan? It's such an easy sport.
Easy.
I like to be facetious, but okay. Imagine if table tennis was like baseball, that we have a home plate here, okay? We have a home plate here, and I have one pitch to concentrate on. I make sure all my body is in the right position, and the ball comes. No, I let it go, it wasn't good enough. Another one comes. No, not good enough. The perfect one comes, home run. I win the point. But it's not baseball, it's table tennis. That one's coming back, and I'm here. And I got to come back and do it again. And I got to move because the home plate now is how wide? And it's not just, 10 feet wide or more, it's also 10 feet long. So every shot, if I'm thinking to win the point, which obviously I don't with every shot, because it's like chess too. I, prepare the point, I get the one that I want to win. I have to stabilize, get my feet on the ground, hit the home run to win the point. Make sense? So baseball is. So when we break it down into one shot, the one shot is ball is coming, anticipate, get to where the ball is going, stabilize, have my feet on the ground so I can use the force from my legs, and then timing. How do I get good timing? Is not by thinking of the shot that I'm going to do, but by thinking in the air, where will I be able to meet that ball? So if I'm very fast, I might be able to meet it here. If I'm slow, I might give myself more time by backing off the table, but my timing doesn't change. I prepare my racket to where the path of the ball is coming, and whatever shot I'm doing has a beginning and it has an end. Do you see that? Push, beginning, end. Chop, beginning, end. Lob, beginning, end. Any shot. Service return, beginning, end. Beginning, end. So my racket, if it's in position to where the ball is coming, I can do the shot and get it on the table. Now there's many implications to that. Does anyone box? You do? Where do you want to hit the person? At which point of your punch?
An inch or two after you punch.
What's that?
An inch or two after you punch.
So it's in the beginning or at the end? So the principle applies from one sport to the other is that when you do a powerful movement, the power is generated at the beginning when your muscles are engaged. And then after that, like a baseball pitch, you engage and then it's like jello, it's relaxed. So the more you're able to just explode and relax, the better the result. So where do we want to hit the ball? Not at the relaxation part, because if I'm relaxed, I can't control the ball, it doesn't have the power, and I can't adapt to anything. Also, the other person sees where I'm going to put it. So if I'm going to hit a high ball, and I was watching this most talented player in the world, Waldner, he doesn't play anymore, but you're familiar with the name. He would just let the ball hang in the air. He would be standing like this, almost like watching the other player panic, and he would just go, and he would be able to, just wait, and put the ball where, he needed to win the point. So many benefits from being able to hit it at the beginning. Okay, let's see now. Are we ready to give some examples? So shall we just review? Stabilize, racket preparation, where the ball is coming. The one thing that I haven't stressed enough is when you prepare your racket, if you can just relax at the last second, relax, then do your shot. If you're a little bit stressed because you're excited because that you're going to win this point, or you're stressed because it's 11-all, or you're stressed because, I don't know, somebody's talking too loud, or your stress can be created by the opponent on purpose. Your job is to do a shot, relax, do a shot, relax, do a shot, relax, and then you string them all together and you become amazingly good. Okay. Any questions?
To relax.
Yeah?
To relax, I think as a lot of people are very tied up.
Uh-huh.
Is it better for you to let the racket more loose in your hand?
It is, but it's all. I don't like to separate things out because I find the more you can simplify the task for your brain, the more success you will have. So if I'm thinking about my hand, I'm not thinking about something else. So I just have to think of it globally. And that's a very good point. Now I need somebody to demonstrate. You've been elected.
Yes.
Okay, this time you're going on the other side. Okay. The difficult thing when we're sparring with somebody and we haven't had enough what I would call schooling to understand the concept and to apply it is that it's like going into a calculus class when you haven't mastered, basic arithmetic or algebra. It's just so overwhelming that you can't cope. So in order to relax, and that's why it's critical to, especially with, not just recreational players, but kids that are starting out in the sport, is to always test them with what they can cope with. Pointing out they have to stay relaxed, they have to stabilize the key things, not do it like this or do it like that. And by practicing it with motor ball rather than with an opponent, and you can do this, to each other. So let's do a little bit of forehand. I'm going to give you forehand. You're going to hit them. Aim here. If you miss, no problem. Okay. You just get ready for the next one. So now I will go at a speed which he can cope with. And I decide, okay, so is he relaxing? I tell him, make sure you feel like you're relaxed. And sometimes you feel it in your head, because when you watch these world-class players, you can't say, oh, they just paused and relaxed. But in their head, they know that how their hand feels and their body feels. It's just relaxed. You know when you're not relaxed, right? So now I'm going to move it around a bit, okay? And I might speed up too. You have to move. Forehand, please. No cheating. Okay. Okay, now, if I go too fast, he's not too bad. But I go at the speed, thank you. I go at the speed where he can tolerate it. And believe me, when I was training, national and international level players, the speed with which they could cope and be in perfect position every time was three-dimensional, like this, like that. And they would be separating each shot as if they were at home plate. They would be, in position, stable, getting ready for the next one, never out of balance. Because once you're not able to cope, it's like a snowball, right? You're like this, then the next one is gone. So you've got to be in control. this is in control. And you can be in control with both feet on the ground. You can go like this, come back. That's what I do now, I cheat. I used to move really well. Anyone else would like to try it? Any brave soul? Come on.
Come on forward.
How are we doing with time? Stop me if you've understood, because I tend to talk a little bit too much sometimes. So where's my? Where are you coming?
You want to play? There's one here.
Oh darn.
Yeah.
Okay, so a little bit of motor ball. Okay, so I'll start slowly. I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to let you warm up. I'm not going to tell you, and then I'll start moving it. Only your forehand, and then I'll see how much you can take. Okay, now, let's be coaches. Let's watch his forehand. And the reason it's important to recognize what another person is doing, because a quality that you have to develop is to be able to see what you're doing. And you can only learn that when you recognize it there and then you think, do I do that? Yeah, I do that too. Because you're constantly self-analyzing your mistakes too. Okay, so what? Is his timing good? Anybody? What?
Not the lip step, or not the lip step, stiff to me here.
Sorry?
The lip is stiff.
Stiff? Yeah, exactly. And is he hitting it at the beginning? Better? Now, the reason I wanted, that wasn't very good. The reason I wanted to point that out is because of excitement and wanting to win the point and play. What we often do is we see the ball coming, we go like this. How many times do you do that because you want to kill the bloody thing? Do you do that? Anybody? Everybody? So do I. So that's the trick, is when you get excited, you don't go like this, you go like that. Like you put your racket, and then it's relaxed. If you pull back, you're not relaxed, you're tense. Okay? What else did I have to say about that? It'll come to me, I'm sure. Okay, let's do it again. I know. Okay, so I simplified everything, obviously. So this is, not in today's session, but every technique, there's a better way to do it but there are many different ways to do it. However, not every shot is completely at the beginning like that. Flat balls, blocks, hits are usually very close to the beginning, as close to the beginning of your movement as possible. But you can't get spin on the ball, obviously, if you start. So a top spin is generally a little bit lower, but not a lot lower. It's not down here, because then you have to fight and everything goes wrong, plus the pitcher is pitching the ball back. See? Okay? So for the top spin, start a bit lower, and then you can spin it, but not at the floor. Okay. Now you're ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Me too. I won't talk anymore. Okay. So obviously this is a bit too much for him to cope with, so I back off a little bit. I talk him through. You want to, each time you hit the ball, try and be stable on your feet, relax, do your shot. A bit better. Okay. And by working this way, it doesn't take that long. You gradually increase and the concept becomes natural. Whereas if it's too fast, it never becomes natural because you're always panicking and trying to cope. Okay? So, we're quite a lot of players. How many tables?
So you just want to let them know what you'd like them to practice?
Yeah,
You
I'm
can
trying.
Close up.
If you break up into equal groups on each table, I will get you to try out some things. First, just one ball at a time. We'll do that quickly. And then you can choose whatever shot that you want to practice, trying to keep in mind, timing, relax, move, stabilize, and separate each shot, okay? So the first thing I'd like you to try, normally I would have used the floor, but it doesn't bounce. Because normally what I would do is get you to see the difference between if you bounce and relax while it's coming up, that doing that is it easier than doing that? Obviously not. But when you try it, you think, whoa, that is so much harder if you don't take that pause, if you're swinging all the time. And that's if you can eliminate that backswing in your game, change it into a relaxed, put your racket, I'm almost sure you're going to be like 5 points better. 4, 3, 2, 1, maybe. Okay, so what you're going to do instead is you're going to take maybe 10 balls each, or you keep rotating so you're not standing around. You bounce it, and then try and put it on a target. So place something on the table and aim for it and watch what shot you're doing where you're starting. You can do any shot, hit it in the beginning. One thing I did forget to mention is by having good timing, I have enough experience just to look at someone for like 1 second, and just by looking at the quality of how they contact the ball, I can tell if they understand, I can tell if they're talented, I can tell many things. And the secret that I use is if your timing is bad, you have your racket and the ball colliding somewhere. It's like a collision. The ball is coming at you, and you collide with it, and it just happens to, go somewhere. Could you see that? When you have good timing, your racket should look like it's your hand. When you contact the ball, it's almost like the ball comes, you grab it, and it's like it's like that. It's not like that. So internally, a lot of this is sports psychology. You have to sort of feel it in your head. I'm going to take the ball. I'm going to put the ball over there. Of course, when it's slow, it's easier. When it's fast, it's bloody hard. That's why you play for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, and you're always getting better. Okay? So that's the first thing you're going to do. I'll walk around, so just make sure you take about 3, 4 balls each, practice your shots, try and feel that relaxation. Aim for 2 targets. So you're going to put 1 target short and 1 target long, and you try and aim for those, okay?